Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. And on today's video, I'll be predicting the MLS season. So let's get into the video. This season, there will be a new expansion team called the Charlotte FC, which will take the lead to 28 teams. The New York City FC will be entering this season as the defending champions. So let's start out in the Eastern Conference. The Charlotte FC. Charlotte FC is the newest team in MLS this season, and that will give the league 28 teams now. It's always tough for new expansion teams, but despite the daunting task, there is usually optimism among the new fan base. But Charlotte FC has put a damper on hope. The new head coach of the new team said right now we're screwed. So that doesn't give much confidence to the fan base. So my prediction is that they will finish the season as the worst team in the Eastern Conference. The FC Cincinnati. FC Cincinnati has been the worst team in MLS each of the past 3 seasons. In the 2021 season, they won 4 games with 8 draws and 22 losses worth 20 points on the campaign. It's too bad because they have a fan base that desperately wants to see a winning product in a wonderful stadium, and their patience is probably thin. So my prediction is that they will finish the new season in 13th place. The Chicago Fire. The Chicago Fire didn't have a great season last year with 9 wins, 7 draws, and 18 losses worth 34 points on the 2021 season. They will be entering yet another period of rebuilding after a bunch of players departed and their ex-head coach was let go towards the end of last season. So my prediction is that the Chicago Fire will finish the new season in 12th place. The Inter Miami. Inter Miami will be playing in their 3rd season in the league this year. In the 2021 season, they didn't make the playoffs, and their record was 12 wins with 5 draws and 17 losses worth 41 points on that campaign. So my prediction is that they will finish the new season in 11th place. The DC United. The DC United are one of the oldest teams in MLS, and they have been around since 1996. They haven't made the playoffs since the 2019 season, and their record last year was 14 wins with 5 draws and 15 losses worth 47 points in the 2021 season. This season, if they want to make the playoffs, almost everything will have to go their way to make a break for a postseason appearance. So my prediction is that the DC United will finish the new season in 10th place. The CF Montreal. CF Montreal did make the playoffs last season with a record of 12 wins, 10 draws, and 12 losses worth 46 points. This team does have a strong defense that should keep them relevant, and maybe if everything goes right, they could make a playoff appearance, and that would be impressive. So I absolutely think that they will finish the 2022 season in 9th place. The Orlando City SC. The Orlando City SC made the playoffs last season, and unfortunately they lost in the first round against Nashville SC. Their head coach has helped make the team relevant, fun to watch, and one that qualified for the playoffs for the first time ever. In the 2021 season, their record was 13 wins with 12 draws and 9 losses worth 51 points. This season, their head coach would be put to the test as the team parted ways with 3 of the top attacking players in the offseason. The loss of those players will leave a lot of goals to be replaced. With the loss of so much talent overall, their head coach in Orlando will need to hit home runs with the new imports. This will take a period of adjustment for these players to adapt to Orlando and MLS. But getting points while these players adjust could be tricky for them. So my prediction is that they will miss the playoffs this season and will finish the season in 8th place. The New York Red Bulls. The New York Red Bulls have made the playoffs every season since 2010. In the playoffs last season, they played against the Philadelphia Union in the first round, and unfortunately they lost that match. Their record in the 2021 season was 13 wins, 9 draws, and 12 losses worth 48 points. The Red Bulls will need some breaks in 2022, but they do have enough returning talent to be solid. So I absolutely think that the New York Red Bulls will make the playoffs again this season and will finish as a 7th place team. The Columbus Crew. The Columbus Crew didn't make the playoffs last season with a record of 13 wins, 8 draws, and 13 losses worth 47 points. Columbus is yet another team that remains tough to figure out. They won the MLS Cup in 2020 and then bombed out in 2021, where they failed to make the playoffs despite having most of their core and the coaching staff intact. The question, is the Columbus Crew going to be a contender, or will it be a team that will fail to even make the playoffs again? I think they're going to be a better team than last season. But the truth is they are probably going to be middle of the road, and my prediction is that they will finish the season in 6th place and make a playoff spot. This season will come down to coaching and having the team play together as a unit again. There's just too much talent on the roster for a repeat of 2021. The Toronto FC. The Toronto FC had a disaster of a season on all levels. Their head coach couldn't connect with players and was eventually fired. Just about every player on the team played below expectations, and of course COVID made things brutal on the Canadian teams in the league as the border remained closed for long stretches. Their record was 6 wins with 10 draws and 18 losses worth 28 points. Toronto will need their young players to step up for the new season if they want to make a playoff appearance. They need a massive overhaul this offseason, and it happened, and all the moves look good on paper right now, and it remains to be seen if it will pan out. The Toronto fans should be optimistic, but there is hope for this team this season. So my prediction is that they will make a playoff spot this season as a 5th place team. The Atlanta United. The Atlanta United had a pretty good season last year by making the playoffs with a record of 13 wins, 12 draws, and 9 losses worth 51 points. In the playoffs, they played against the New York City FC in the first round, and unfortunately they lost that match. Atlanta has spent money, and there is always a potential for the team to be very good this season. So my prediction is that they will make a playoff spot this season and will finish in 4th place. The New York City FC. New York City FC won the 2021 MLS Cup last season, and that's the first title in franchise history. In the MLS Cup match, they played against the Portland Timbers. Their record last season was 14 wins, 9 draws, and 11 losses worth 51 points. New York, like many other teams in the East, they don't look as good on paper as they did in 2021. So my prediction is that they will make a playoff spot this season and will finish in 3rd place. The New England Revolution. The New England Revolution were the best team in the league last season with a record of 22 wins, 7 draws, and 5 losses worth 73 points. Last season, they set a new MLS record for points in a season at 73, surpassing the previous mark of 72 set by Los Angeles FC in 2019. In the playoffs, they played against the New York City FC in the conference semifinals, and unfortunately they lost that match. I think that the New England Revolution will still be good this season, and they deserve to be one of the teams to beat in the Eastern Conference, but they are more beatable in 2022 than they were in 2021. So my prediction is that they will make a playoff spot this season and will finish in 2nd place. The Philadelphia Union. The Philadelphia Union were so close to advancing to the MLS Cup match in 2021 season, and their fans have every reason to believe that they should have been there as COVID prevented the team's entire defense and most of the midfield from playing in the Eastern Conference Final. They lost in a narrow 2-1 match to the New York City FC. Their record last season was 14 wins with 12 draws and 8 losses worth 54 points. Don't be surprised if the Union are the best team in the Eastern Conference this season, and also don't be surprised if they're in a strong contender for the MLS Cup during the playoffs. So my prediction is that they will make a playoff spot as the best team in the Eastern Conference this season. Now let's go to the Western Conference. The Houston Dynamo FC. The Houston Dynamo FC have been the worst team in the Eastern Conference in each of the last 2 seasons. Their record last season was 6 wins with 12 draws and 16 losses worth 30 points. This season, I expect them to be the worst team again for the 3rd time in a row in the Western Conference this year. The FC Dallas. FC Dallas was the 3rd worst team in the Western Conference last season, finishing in 11th place. Their record was 7 wins, 12 draws, and 15 losses worth 33 points. The 2021 MLS Cup playoffs marked the first time since 2004 that no team from the state of Texas qualified for the postseason. This season, I predict that they will miss the playoffs and will finish the 2022 season in 13th place. The San Jose Earthquakes. The San Jose Earthquakes have been around the league since 1996 season, and that makes them one of the oldest teams in MLS. They did make the playoffs last season, and their record was 10 wins, 11 draws, and 13 losses worth 41 points. They finished that season in 10th place. So my prediction is that they won't make a playoff spot this season, and they will finish as the 12th place team. The Austin FC. This will be the Austin FC's 2nd season lead this year. In their first season lead, their record was 9 wins, 4 draws, and 21 losses worth 31 points. They finished their first season as the 2nd worst team in the Western Conference. In their 2nd season league, my prediction is that they will be a better team this season. but won't be a playoff contender this year, and they will finish their second season as 11th place team. The Minnesota United. The Minnesota United have been in the league since 2017, and they haven't made an MLS Cup Finals match yet in franchise history. They made the playoffs last season, and they made it to the first round against the Portland Timbers, and unfortunately they lost that match. Their record last season was 13 wins, 10 draws, and 11 losses worth 49 points. They finished that season as the 5th place team. So my prediction is that the Minnesota United won't be as good as last season and will miss the postseason this year, and they will finish as the 10th place team. The Vancouver Whitecaps. The Vancouver Whitecaps made the playoffs last season for the first time since the 2017 campaign. In the playoffs last season, they played against Sporting Kansas City in the first round, and unfortunately they lost that match. Their record last season was 12 wins, 13 draws, and 9 losses worth 49 points. This season, I suspect that the Vancouver Whitecaps won't be as good as last season and will miss the playoffs and will finish the 2022 season in 9th place. The Sporting Kansas City. The Sporting Kansas City have made the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. In the playoffs, they made it to the conference semifinals against the Real Salt Lake, and unfortunately they lost that match. Their record in the regular season was 17 wins, 7 draws, and 10 losses worth 58 points. They finished that season as the 3rd place team. This season, I predict that they will take a step back and miss the playoffs barely, and they will finish the new season as the 8th place team. The Real Salt Lake. The Real Salt Lake sneaked into the playoffs last season as the 7th seed. In the playoffs last season, they made it all the way to the conference finals against the Portland Timbers, and unfortunately they lost that match. Their record last season was 14 wins, 6 draws, and 14 losses worth 48 points. This season, I suspect that they will barely make the playoffs again as a 7th place team. The LA Galaxy. The LA Galaxy didn't have a good season last year by missing the playoffs for a second straight year in a row. Their last playoff appearance came in the 2019 season. Their record last season was 13 wins, 9 draws, and 12 losses worth 48 points. They finished that season as the 8th place team. And the 2021 MLS Cup playoffs marked the first time ever that no team from California qualified for a postseason spot. So my prediction is that the LA Galaxy will have a bounce-back season this year and will make a playoff spot as the 6th place team. The Colorado Rapids. The Rapids have been in the league since 1996. They were the 2nd best team in the league last season, and in the playoffs they played against the Portland Timbers in the conference semifinals, and unfortunately they lost that match. Their record last season was 17 wins, 10 draws, and 7 losses worth 61 points. This season, I suspect that they won't be as great as last season, but they will make a playoff spot as the 5th place team. The LAFC. The LAFC had a disappointing season last year by missing the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. All of the Californian teams missed the playoffs last season. That's the first time ever that happened. Their record last season was 12 wins, 9 draws, and 13 losses worth 45 points. They finished as the 9th place team. I absolutely think that this team will have a bounce-back season by making the playoffs and finishing the 2022 season in 4th place. The Portland Timbers. The Portland Timbers almost won the MLS Cup Finals last season, but unfortunately they lost against the New York City FC. That was the 3rd time in franchise history that they had made the MLS Cup Finals, and their record in those finals are 1 win and 2 losses. Their record last season was 17 wins, 4 draws, and 13 losses worth 55 points. This season, I absolutely think that the Portland Timbers will be one of the best teams in the Western Conference this year and will make a playoff spot as a 3rd place team. The Nashville SC. The Nashville SC won't be in the Eastern Conference anymore and will be playing the Western Conference this season. They had a great season last year, making the playoffs as the 3rd place team in the Eastern Conference. In the playoffs, they played against the Philadelphia Union in the conference semifinals and unfortunately lost that match. Their record last season was 12 wins, 18 draws, and 4 losses worth 54 points. So I absolutely think that the Nashville SC will be even better this season and will make a playoff spot as the 2nd best team in the Western Conference. The Seattle Sounders. The Seattle Sounders had a pretty good season last year, but unfortunately they didn't get far in the playoffs and losing in the first round against the Real Salt Lake. They have made the playoffs every season since they joined the league back in 2009. Their record last season was 17 wins, 9 draws, and 8 losses worth 60 points, and they finished that season as the 2nd best team in the Western Conference. This season, my prediction is that the Seattle Sounders will even be better this year by being the best team in the Western Conference and making the playoffs again. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and who do you think is the best team in MLS this season? Join me in the comment section down below and tell me what you guys think. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit that notification bell to be notified of new videos in the future. Make sure you share this video with friends and family, and please get this video out there. My name is Nathan. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to just keep loving sports, and I'll see you next time.